Live from London, Car-Boyz! Oh, yes, we are. We promise we are. Let's get those
Hey,
cameras rocking and rolling. Guten Morgen, mein Herr. Das ist gut. I'm feeling very Germanic today. Yeah, here we are, episode 78 of your favourite car show that now comes. It now comes with added pictures. Well, it has done for the past year or so since COVID started. This week on the show, we're going to have all the news that's not fit to print in Dan News. We're going to be delving into your correspondence. In the part of the show, we have newly renamed the letter Bollocks, and we're going to have an amazing competition for you called Colour Me Bad, like the 90s pop band of the same name. We'll be asking a lucky contestant how much he knows about cars and their colours. Will he be able to identify the Ferrari Rosso Red or the British Leyland Allegro Baby Poo Brown? Will he come out a winner? Will be relegated to the back of the paint shop with the old cans of touch-up paint and the 1980s calendar of page 3 Sun ladies. The glory days of boobies in newspapers. What have the kids got now, eh, Simon?
I think it's called X Hamster or YouPorn.
Oh,
One of
yes.
those.
Yes.
Hundreds of clips on the internet.
Hundreds.
You can find everything on there. What a technological age we live in. Yes, we have a great program for you on the way today with some somewhere exciting, international and exotic in our Lost Highway section of the show. Also this week we have a great vintage motor in our classic car selection. This week it's the baby Land Rover. It's the Freelander. Baby Land Rover. And we'll be asking the age-old question, as we always do. If red means stop and green means go, what does amber mean? It still means go faster.
That's what I said to the judge.
So stay tuned for all of that and more. I'm Simon Sichuan, and I want to sex you all night. I want to make you feel good. Want to rub you down. I want to sex you up. Hip hop, you don't stop.
Simon Sichuan there. Talking about what he wants to do to his Mini. The show's very own 1990s boy band pin-up. I think he was in the group Boys to Borstal.
Yes.
I'm Richard Green, and step by step, ooh baby, gonna get you, girl. Step by step, ooh baby, really want you in my world. Yes, a lovely song by Boston's finest, New Kids on the Block. Can't say I was ever a fan. I think my wife was.
Oh dear.
Younger. And this is
It's Car-Boyz.
Car-Boyz. Welcome to the show. Got a new sponsor for you, Simon.
Yes, what is it?
I spent all week and all weekend getting this. It's it comes in a beautiful bottle, and it's the British COVID vaccine.
Ooh.
That's our sponsor this week, British COVID vaccine, and of course it's not for export to the EU. And does it make me
bottled
feel any
in
better?
Oxford?
Bottled in Oxford, and in no way do I feel like I'm having a brain clot. Although early days on the show. Time now on the show for my take. It's, Richard's rant. It's when I take a sideways view of the world from my own weird and I would argue warped perspective. But unlike other sections of the podcast, this will not be a democracy, more a benign dictatorship. And I shall rule this kingdom as the God King I am, and my word is law. This week, I've been wandering around my local park, amazed how much crap has been piling up on the ground and wondering why someone doesn't do something about it. As I left the park, I saw a CCTV cameras by the entrance, and I thought, couldn't they spot somebody dropping litter? And then I read this story in the news. A new camera scheme is set to catch motorists in the act who dispose of litter from their windows, landing them hefty fines. From April, Maidstone Borough Council in Kent will employ the use of LitterCam to seek. I'm glad they're using our money so wisely. If you have got council tax, you'll know that's gone up as well. They're seeking out and finding drivers who flout the rules. So people who just do sort of this, it'll go. It's a violation. The new camera scheme is set to catch motorists in the act of disposing of litter from their windows, landing them with hefty fines. From April next month, Maidstone Borough Council, number 73, in Kent, will employ the use of LitterCam to seek out drivers flouting the rules. The first pilot scheme in the country. Now, under the current guidelines, fines begin at 90 quid.
What?
Rise up to 120 if unpaid after 15 days. The maximum on the spot fine in England is 150 quid. After verifying the offending vehicle, the evidence will be sent to the DVLA, which is the Driver Vehicle Licence Agency, which will provide the council with the details of the registered keeper and get a penalty that will be sent through the post. Any individuals wanting to see the evidence can check the footage through the LitterCam portal, which does sound futuristic, and I hope has a sound like. Any individuals. So, according to Highways England, around 200,000 sacks of litter are removed from England's roads every year, containing everything from coffee cups, the remains of fast food meals, to nappies, cigarette butts, and even apple cores. Now, I've got a thing about this. If you're in the countryside, and I mean in the countryside, and you have an apple, and you've got an apple core,
Yes.
I throw that in the hedge. I couldn't give a toss. Bye bye.
Is it not biodegradable?
Yeah, because it's an apple core, and hopefully some small little, I don't know, hedgehog, rodent will go and eat it. Same with the banana skin. I mean, I don't go out and put 3 tires. I don't go down a little lane and put a load of tires and set fire to them. But I'm pretty much figure an apple core. And I don't know if you can remember the comedian Johnny Vegas. He got done.
Johnny Vegas.
He had a roll up, and it was like down, a roll up cigarette. So he's down to nothing at the end. Yeah. And he popped it into a drain, and he got fined 90 quid. Now, all of these offences include high streets and minor roads, as well as motorways, where slip roads are filled with larger items, including discarded waste, such as building materials which have slipped from poorly secured cargo on lorries. Now, yet the reality is so far that very few offenders are caught handing out a fine. Last year, 200 fines were issued by Maidstone Borough Council. But Derek Mortimer, chairman of the committee's Housing and Environmental Committee, hopes the new scheme will push into thousands with a zero tolerance policy with their new litter violation camera. It's all very well and good, all this. But what does it cost to our civil liberties? How much CCTV do I have covering my every move? How much scrutiny do me and my family have to be put under? And to what extent can that be used for other reasons, folks? Because they do. They'll get it in this, and then they'll use it for that. The UK has more CCTV cameras per capita than any other country in the world. We are more closely monitored than the citizens of North Korea, and our leader has a far worse haircut. A country not famed for its liberal interpretation of democracy, North Korea. But how long before it gets extended again and again, and we're about to enter an age when our thoughts will be monitored by the police, and the novel 1984 will come to be seen not as a work of fiction, but a prediction of the dystopian future we find ourselves heading towards? Are thought crimes the next thing to be tabled as way to make the plebs behave? I hate litter. I hate people dropping litter, but maybe the answer is an education campaign, not a fine for a minor infraction. Again, it's all about a stick and no carrot approach by the council. And let's face it, another way to get themselves out of economic debt that they're currently facing. The mismanagement of funding by local government is legend. And to be honest, I'm fed up of bailing them out. These fines are purely revenue raising. What do you think?
I think the bigger picture is, I don't know about your council, but I know that the councils now are collecting rubbish every 2 weeks.
Yes. Or in the case of my green bin, not for about 3 weeks. Carry on.
So the thing is, of course, people aren't going to take their litter home because it's not going to collect it, and that's why I've noticed down my road, people just dropping stuff by the side of the road anyway. So there's no one's catching up with them. No one's checking them out. So I think it's just another way of making money out of the motorists.
It's interesting that you say this, because during the summer with lockdown, nobody had anywhere to go. You couldn't go anywhere, so you went to the local park.
Yeah.
And rather than the councils going, well, we know we're going to have, 1,500 people come in a day. They're going to be bringing pizza boxes, or maybe if you can barbecue at your local park, barbecues, and they're going to have food wrappers, and the bins would become increasingly full. They wouldn't go, let's put a skip here so people can put stuff in. They would tell you to take your rubbish home, and that's fair enough. But the truth of the matter is, I pay council tax. I own the bloody park. I own the bloody council, and I've paid for all of this. So no, I want you to do your bloody job. And your job is to sort out the litter. And if it's going to be congregating in this place, good luck. That's your job. You've been paid to do it. So just get on with it. Not my fault you're in debt.
Does it identify if it's litter or if it's, I don't know, a bogey or something.
Well, I don't think it can it? I mean, if you say chopped a hand off a small child in the car and threw that out the car, it would say that surely that's litter. Or if you threw out a, how is it going to identify? If you anything you drop is considered litter. There was a case
Mm.
recently where a little kid, a mother got a fine because the kid dropped a rusk outside Tesco. A kid in a pushchair.
Mm.
So that's lovely. Thank you, 1984 dystopian future coming true. Shall we have some news?
Let's have some news.
Realise we
Roll
need
on the
to have some
music.
news. Yeah, and I don't know where it's gone. Oh, hang on. Here it is.
And first off, in 100% royalty-free music news, no, in Southern Shandy drivers drive electric car news, a new report has revealed that the recent surge in ownership of pure electric vehicles in the UK also highlights the regional drive in uptake, which is far higher in affluent areas. There you go. The number of battery electric vehicles, or BEVs,
Hello,
uh,
Bev. Lovely
owned
lass.
privately
Face like a
rather
bag of spanners. Sorry.
Yes. Privately owned rather than businesses and fleets has risen by nearly 30,000 cars in the last year, which is about time they've been in lockdown.
Yeah.
An increase of 53%. Says research by the RAC. However, analysis of government data shows that there is a growing north-south divide when it comes to who can afford them, with a third of all EVs being in the southeast and London, while motorists in regions further up north in the country, like
Shandy
the
drinking
northeast,
southern puff. Sorry. What?
appearing more reluctant or unable to make the switch. Using the interactive map that they have on their site, you can see the zero-emission electric cars that own private hands only live. The RS's data is based on registrations of electric vehicles at the end of the quarter three of 2020, comparing the figures to those of quarter three of 2019. The motoring organisation says almost half of the BEVs in the UK, 86,130 vehicles are privately owned, with the remaining 86,387 licensed by companies. So it's about half-half. It's about the same. However, regional analysis of data shows that the UK's richest area where EV ownership is highest, some 17,820 of the UK's 86,000 privately owned battery electric cars are registered drivers in the southeast, with 52% increase on the uptake over the 12-month period reviewed. This means that more than 1 in 5 of the privately owned BEVs in the UK are located in the region, which is strange because I can imagine there's more women called Bev up north.
There is. This looks very simple, doesn't it? If you live
Yes.
down south, the likelihood is you've got more money. Well, not if you try and pay a mortgage down south, but people down south probably have got more money than people up north.
And infrastructure's probably better down south than
Yep.
up north.
Probably more. You'd want to use an electric car far more in London if you never really leave London. It makes far more sense than if you live in Manchester and you like to go up to the moors. You know, you go to the Pennines at weekends. Electric cars a bit of a pain in the backside. I remember years ago, a friend of mine was an IT consultant, and he went to Bradford, to a very rough part of Bradford on an industrial estate, and he had a 15-year-old Vauxhall Carlton.
Oh yeah.
So it was like a 1990 car.
Yeah.
This is 2005. He said it was the newest car he saw in this part of Bradford.
Yeah.
He saw cars on fire, and he was really frightened to park his car at the hotel. A 15-year-old car. I'm just saying there are some very
Yeah.
poverty-stricken parts of the north of England.
And that's what the electric vehicle is doing. It's making those that usually can't afford a vehicle just not being able to afford a vehicle, full stop.
I mean, look, round where I live, it is full of southern shandy drinking types. And I would say there's a lot of people with stupid money. There's a lot of Teslas around here, a lot. And I just see them all the time on the driveway. And what I always think of, I'm so glad they have them, because local thieves will know that's the house to rob, not my house with the 8-year-old Honda. they'll definitely have a Mac in that house if they've got a Tesla.
Mm.
That's what the local crack dealers will be thinking, or crack users, when they break into their house.
Mm.
So yeah, I think it is north-south divide. It's the haves that have, and also I think it's if you've got money, why would you buy a Tesla? You rent it, you
Yeah.
lease it, and if you own your own company, leasing a car makes much more sense. So yeah.
Mm. I read somewhere that I
Go
think
on.
it takes it all about 10 years to break even on a car, electric vehicle,
If you buy
with
it
the
from new.
cost. Yeah, at
Yeah,
least.
I won't be doing that. I won't be doing it.
Mm.
They've got to become far more flipping the Jetsons than they currently are.
Not in my
Meanwhile,
lifetime.
in good news for those with lots of penalty points news,
Ooh.
half the safety cameras on smart motorways are not yet operational. Yay! I think we need. I do think we need a cheer for that. That's yeah. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Um, yeah, it's meaning drivers could be avoiding fines for ignoring lane closures, which are crucial for warning of accidents or breakdowns ahead. The roads, which can use variable speed limits and the hard shoulder as a live running lane to manage traffic flow, have sparked concerns over high speed crashes. Which is nice. Yet Highways England have revealed that the cameras network will not be fully upgraded to 2023, meaning half safety cameras on smart motorways are not yet operational. Oh, there you go. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Now, if you have been on smart motorways, and this is a new thing, and nobody taught me this until very recently. Hang on, let me get it right. You might have to give me a bit of a left, bit of right. There you go. That little yellow box there. There you
Mm.
go. That yellow box. There's nothing else. That is recording you there as you go past. So if you go past
It
doing
is.
over 70, you're going to get a ticket. All along the M3, all around the M25.
Yeah.
You don't see anybody, and you'll notice because everybody will suddenly bang down to 70. Well, I will always be doing 70. And then once they're past that, they speed up again, and you get to know where they all are.
Mm.
RAC told the Times newspaper, it's frightening to think it will be nearly 2.5 more years until all smart motorway cameras are upgraded. The revelation comes amid growing fears about the safety of smart motorways, with a number of bereaved relatives of crash victims speaking out about the death traps. MPs on cross-party transport schemes, transport committee, I should say, announced a new inquiry into the scheme and have warned major changes may be needed. When the roads employ the hard shoulder to create an extra lane, motorists can be stranded if they break down from a junction or lay-by. The hard shoulder has been removed on 350 miles of motorway so far, which is madness, including large sections of the M1, M6 and M25. If an accident occurs, red X signs are displayed on the road's overhead gantries to warn other cars. Drivers can be slapped with a £100 fine and 3 penalty points for ignoring the warning signs. What psychopath will be going into a lane on a motorway that's got a red X above it?
Mm.
Not me.
Mm.
But I certainly shan't be observing the ones that say 30 miles an hour, because I just don't do that. Unless there's one of these yellow things about. Average speed camera checks always get me, but it's
It,
another way of getting money out of drivers.
yeah, I mean, the good thing now with average speed cameras is, well, my car's got cruise control, so I just set it on that. But most of the time, it's usually spending more time looking at your speedometer than actually
Yeah.
concentrating on the
Now
road.
I've got cruise control on mine, but it's so difficult to access, and it's through so many variations.
Really?
It is. It's a nightmare. By the time I went down to
Wow.
Cornwall last year, 6 hours, and I just got to the end, and I went, "Oh, that's how you do it." Hold, off, press twice, press here. Usually, cruise control in the old days was just CC button. They just went.
Yeah, I've
No,
got.
it's very technical in the Honda. I never use it because I get
Uh,
200 yards down the road and we're all doing this again. It would make sense. It would make sense if it was somewhere like the States. It
I, I
wouldn't make
like I,
sense here.
I like to think it's like an autopilot. So you press it and then you set the speed and just let it cruise along.
Do you recreate that scene out of Anchorman 2 where you get in the back of the car and start having a sleep?
That would be a good idea. Maybe
Car
not.
starts veering off.
In the UK, government sinks to £500 million into
Billion?
pothole news. Billion quid into potholes news. Councils in England will be allocated £500 million, or half a billion, to repair some 10 million potholes scattered across the country's local roads. The funding is the second instalment of the £2.5 billion potholes fund,
Brilliant.
launched by the Chancellor last year. Little did you know that it was COVID was coming
Yeah,
on.
exactly.
And it's not a newly announced cash injection. The AA
Yeah.
welcomed the news that more potholes will be filled, but said local roads are in desperate need of resurfacing. I know lots of roads like that. However, this takes place on average less than once in a lifetime. The potholes fund was part of Rishi Sunak's financial package for the 2020 budget, and to be spent on roads from 2020, the financial year ending 2025. Department of Transport says an average pothole costs £50 on average to repair. Really? Okay. Using the figure as this
Well,
measure,
yeah,
it
but
says
the
10.
time you've got, why the time it's been, the contract starts out with the government, then it goes to
Yeah.
someone like McAlpine, and then they pass it on to somebody else, who passes it on to somebody else, and they're going to wet their beaks. And by the time it gets to Seamus O'Malley and his mate with a 1987 Transit and a bag of tarmac and a spade, who are
Yeah, it's
probably
gone
getting
up to
paid
50 quid.
£10 a pothole. Yeah, so everybody's shaved their little bit off. That's why these guys
Mm.
are so rich.
In terms of the areas that will benefit most, the latest release of the government funds, the southwest received just over 90
Oh,
million more than any other region, which is all good.
yeah.
The southeast will be allocated 82.5 million, the east of England nearly 68.5 million, and northwest 28.5 million. But in which areas have the worst potholes? It's now time for another top of the top style top countdown to find out.
Thanks, Simon. And first off, in at 5, it's the Dreaming Spies of the University, racking up more than 110,000 potholes, the county of Oxfordshire. Meanwhile, coming up at number 4, it's cream and jam, or jam, then cream on your scone. We don't know, but what we do know is that Devon comes in with almost 150,000 potholes. Halfway through our countdown of the worst regions in the UK for potholes, and it's home of the Peak District and the home of more than 170,000 potholes in at 3, it's Derbyshire. Meanwhile, taking 2 silver, we're back on the Dreaming Spires and Communist Spies. The region with the second most worst number of potholes, it's the roads, is Cambridgeshire, with almost 185,000. But coming in at number 1, the home of pasties and surfing, the county with the most potholes in its highways. Some people call it a separate country. Some people wish it was. Cornwall takes a hot spot with more than 210,000 potholes.
Wow.
And my road tax just went up £40 this year. I don't know if you've paid your road tax recently. I'm now up to over £300 annually.
Ooh. Ooh.
And if I work out how much of the road fund license goes from my road fund license, which I've been arguments online with people before, gone, well, actually, it's just a general tax. Yeah, well, but why is it? Why are you tax? It's not. It is. It's a general tax, but it's a general tax because I decided to drive a car of a certain type and a certain make and a certain
Yeah.
NOx emissions. So £300, round about 30 of that will go on the roads.
Ooh.
And 270, Rishi Sunak just does whatever he likes with it.
Yeah.
Which is not a lot.
Yeah. Put some in potholes. Is there a
Yes.
line in the Beatles' Day in the Life about potholes? No.
There
Is it
might
Blackburn?
be. Blackburn? Blackbird?
Yeah.
Blackburn.
Blackburn.
I think we wrote a song about rather crap football team in the northwest there, Paul. Yes, we did. Not as bloody good as Liverpool or Everton. Yeah, I just can't believe this. The pothole story goes on and on and on and on, and it will never end. The thing that confused me in your reading of the copy was it says, however, replacing road servicing on average is less than once in a lifetime.
In a lifetime, yeah.
The road outside my house has been resurfaced about 12 times. I've only been here 5 years. Is this the lifetime of a goldfish? What? I don't understand. I mean, maybe there's some country roads in the arse end of nowhere that nobody's touched. Then who gives a toss? Just a thought. Finally, yes, please, can I have one of those news? The new Mustang Mach 1, not McDonald's, has gone on sale in the UK, priced at a mere 55,185. Ford claims the Mach 1, the fastest production Mustang with around a track ever to been. Sorry, I'll read that because my brain was not functioning. Ford claims the Mach 1 is the fastest production Mustang around a track ever to be offered to customers in Europe. New additional bridges the gap between the standard Mustang and the high-performance GT500 tuned by US outfit Shelby, essentially replacing the GT350, which bowed out production last year. As with previous Mach 1 Mustangs, the latest iteration is to set apart from the standard car with a performance-style orientated body package, the most obvious element of which is the bespoke shark nose front end, which has been designed for optimum aerodynamic efficiency and features a unique 3D grille, mock retro style lights, and new air intakes. Together with the extended underbody chassis tray, the improvement means the Mach 1 offers 22% more downforce than a Mustang GT with the performance pack. The Mustang M1 makes, wait for it, 454 bhp, 390 foot of torque from an uprated version of the Mustang's 5-litre V8, with subtle increases coming courtesy of the air intake manifold, oil cooler, and oil filter adapter borrowed from the Shelby GT350. Performance figures have yet to be confirmed, but it's likely to beat the standards car 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds and a top speed of 155. As standard, the Mach 1 sends its power to the rear axles by way of a 6-speed manual gearbox, also a Shelby item, which has now been equipped with the rev matching and its mated twin disc clutch and short throw gear stick from a Mustang GT. 10-speed gearbox.
10?
I don't know what you do with that. Is available for a premium of another 2,000. But to be honest, if I had 55 grand, which I don't because I present the show, I would be buying that, not a flipping Tesla. Look at it. It's amazing.
It's got 2 giant holes on the grille. I don't know why I said shark. It's more like a horse, flared nostrils of a horse.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yes. It does look good, though. I do like it.
Yes,
it's fantastic. Well, have one of those. I know you're a massive Ford fan. I'm a fan of this. I wasn't of the Mustang, but now that they've put proper suspension at the back, and they've got rid of the stuff they used to put on 1948 Land Rovers. They've got rid of the leaf springs. I mean, I don't think I've never owned a car with leaf springs. Half the they finally worked out that you do have corners in roads.
Corners in Europe, yeah.
And it also, and more importantly, it also comes in right-hand drive, which is what we want. I believe it's that time in the show to take some time to be alone and hear the soothing effects, courtesy of the BBC soundtrack album that's known as the Turd of the Week.
Oh, we're doing Turd of the Week now.
Oh, we are. What are we supposed to be doing then?
Classic car?
Sorry?
Classic car?
We do classic car and then do Turd of the Week. Yeah, let's do it. Hang on.
Because we could seamlessly go from Land Rover. Because the classic car this week is a Land Rover.
It is. Sure. Sorry, I do apologise.
It's fine.
It's Monday.
I've been doing this for 78 shows.
78 episodes, and this is the worst one. Here's the jazz band. It's time for classic car selection.
See, they were ready.
They were on it. They were this week. All right, enough. All yours.
There you go. The Land Rover Freelander is this week's classic car selection. There you go. It was born out of a time when British Aerospace owned the company. They were desperately looking to introduce a new model that broke with tradition. Not only was it the first unibody or monocoque design, it was also offered as a 2-wheel drive version as well. After starting out being designed in 1988, the Mark I Land Rover Freelander was an instant hit and went on to become the biggest selling 4-wheel drive model in Europe. It had over 500,000 units sold in its 9-year lifespan when it was launched in 1997. The Freelander became Europe's best best-selling four-wheel drive vehicle for 5 consecutive years after launch and became the most successful in the brand's history. It's a misconception, though, that it was developed by BMW because most of the development was completed by Rover when the marque was taken over by the Germans in 1994. There's one on the screen now. It was a mix of between an off-road vehicle and a compact station wagon. The Freelander was also known as the Baby Land Rover since it was the youngest and smallest car in the stable. Despite being an SUV without low-range gearing, it was able to cope with a rough terrain with ease. At the front, they installed the headlights above the bumpers to protect them from bushes and other mild obstacles, shopping carts included. The functional design worked well for the bumpers, where large areas of black scratch-proof plastic and they were left unpainted. It was two-step roofline that resembled that of the Land Rover Discovery. Both Freelander versions featured a power sliding window on the tailgate, high-mounted turn signals as well. In the first production years, the Freelander featured Rover engines only. 1.8 litre petrol and 2 litre turbo diesels. Only the facelifted version was improved by BMW and enhanced by the German 2 litre turbo diesel unit. In 2003, it received a major facelift and under Ford ownership was built on the Mondeo platform, which I didn't know until I researched this. What do you look for? Well, although few Freelanders ever saw serious off-road use, it's a good idea to check for any potential underbody damage. And the interior of the Freelander needs to be checked carefully for loose or damaged panels. It's not unknown for optional leather seats to split at the seams. Nice. Low rumbling sound from under the back of the car could indicate trouble with the rear diff, and it could cost more than £1,000 to replace. Rear wheel bearings can wear out, and that would cost about £350 each to replace, so quite expensive. Power steering pumps fail, and this could lead to another bill. The Freelander seems especially susceptible to developing suspension and steering tracking alignment issues because of all the potholes. No, because it was just a bit fragile, leading to excessive and uneven tyre wear. That said, how much should you pay?
Not a lot.
I found this. No, it's reasonable.
Go on.
I found this 5-door 2005 TD4 Sport model.
Nice.
With just 37,000 miles on the clock in Bedfordshire.
Okay.
And that's available for a shade under £7,000.
That's not bad, is it?
It's not.
Sorry.
It's not bad considering it's a genuine Land Rover with 4x4 capability, and isn't like a tank driving it around town.
No, I do know one person that's owned one, and he really loved it. It was somebody who works at a TV station up in Ealing, and he absolutely, and it was about that age, and he loved it.
I think it looks better in darker colours.
I think you're right. I think it's. If you don't want to drive a typical, if you want to be quintessentially English, I've been joined by my assistant producer. If you want to drive, you missed him. You missed him. He's short and blonde. He's about that big. If you want to be English and not spend too much money, have something that's relatively reliable. I mean, it is the car to go for, isn't it? Rather than just getting your atypical Honda, CR-V, Mitsubishi Pajero. But I would say, be prepared to have a big oil stain on your driveway because it is a Land Rover.
I like to think that
oil.
I like to think it's leaving a little rainbow behind when it rains.
And actually, now you've reminded me, I know somebody else that had one, and they took it all the way over France.
There you go. See?
Yeah. So yeah, maybe. I don't think he had the one with the Rover engine.
When he got to France, that's a start. So it's definitely not the Rover engine.
Did have the funky window that went down in the back, didn't it?
Yeah.
But you couldn't sit on the tailgate and watch point to point, which I think is the point of a Land Rover. But
exactly,
poor man's Land Rover. Yeah, if that's what you want, then go for it. And it's not a lot of money to spend.
Not really.
You get your money back, and it's one of those things. I always think Land Rovers are pretty classless vehicles. You don't know. The guy could be a plumber. He could be it could be the landowner of some huge farm or something, or we could just be just an average bloke in the street. So yeah, nice. Thank you for that. If you would like to suggest a car for us to put on the classic car selection, you can email the Car-Boyz at car-boys@outlook.com, Facebook car-boys at Car-Boyz with 4 Zs, Twitter car-boys with a Z, always with a Z, at car_boys, and the Instagram at Car-Boyz with the tree's heads because apparently Fort was already gone. I've already introduced this, so I'll just give the sound effect and let Simon start.
Hey! That's those sound effects must mean it's time for the turn of the week. Time to examine the terrible crimes committed against cars across the world. I did post one this week on Facebook, which I saw.
What, that no stencil buff out in the back?
But it said it had reversing things. But hey ho. From
Afterwards, after he reversed into a wall 8 times.
the turn of the week, from never servicing your Nissan Bluebird
Maybe he
to
was
painting your
deaf.
wheels black. I don't know. And putting a bumper back on your car with gaffer tape, we basically find a car for sale across the world, a terrible car that is dare to mount a pile of feces to be crowned the glorious king of the hill. It's time on Car-Boyz for, of course, the pup of the week, aka the turd of the
Turd
week.
of
And
the week.
this week, we have an email from Alexander in Hertfordshire. He's trying to sell his wife's old Nissan. I've noticed last week was a Nissan Micra as well, and I posted a Nissan as well. So maybe was it the week before was a Renault? I don't know.
What did we have
There could
last
be a
week?
common theme. It was the Micra.
Oh, yeah, it was
The
a Micra,
wishy-washy
wasn't it?
Micra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a newer
Um,
version of said Micra.
Yes, he was looking online for a car of a similar vintage so he could work out what to ask for his wife's car. Then he came across this monster in the classifieds. He thought it was a 2003 Nissan Micra for a mere £299. There has been lots wrong with this, and I imagine it's been a write-off. Well, the description starts off good. A 17-year-old car with 16-valve 1.2 Sports Edition, low mileage of 68,000 miles, and the car is ULEZ compliant. There's also a few scrapes and scratches on the bodywork and a little bit of rust. And the boot, the car is in no way in a category write-off, but for £299, there has to be something wrong with it. So, Rich, what is it?
On closer inspection, yes, Simon, there is a lot wrong with it. The elephant in the room is the engine management light.
Ooh.
The orange engine management light is on. Now, this could be a sensor issue, a lambda sensor, or it could be major. The car starts and runs, has got an MOT until next year, but what worries me is this is being sold by a car dealer. For less than 20 quid, you can go online and buy an engine diagnostic fault or code reader, which you plug into the SCART socket, usually in the driver's footwell, and that'll tell you why the engine management light's on and whether there's something you really need to worry about or it's just a sensor issue. The light I can see in this picture is only on amber, which could mean it's something simple, like I just said, like a lambda sensor, but it doesn't mean it's not serious. Now, look, I've got one of these devices, and if I've got one, sure as damn it, car dealers have got one of these devices.
Yeah.
So when they say we don't know what's wrong with the car, that's absolute crap. Why don't you just diagnose it and tell me the issues, and then we'll probably work out why you only want 250 quid for this absolute dog. It's not just the engine, though. There's loads of scrapes on this car. I think it's led a pretty hard life, and I would not be surprised to discover and find out that there's lots of other issues that we're yet to unravel. The main reason, though, I think this is a pup of our week is that I've driven one of these cars in Cyprus. If you've driven the old Micra, the Mark 1, are pretty slow. These things are the slowest, most ponderous car it has ever been my misfortune to drive. And I've driven cars made in Malaysia. They're incredibly slow. I don't think the Nissan have made a decent car since the 80s. They're effectively Renaults, as the two have been partners for years. And the French brand Renault is not renowned for quality either. I think this is an absolute dog, and it's a congratulations to the Nissan Micra in Hertfordshire, spotted by Alexander, that wins the glorious crown of turd of the week. Oh God, it's ripped a new one, that. But it is. But you can't work out why. I've had cars that have engine management lights on, and we've worked out that there's a knackered sensor. So then why not fix the sensor or turn the light off? Because you can turn them off with those and then sell the car.
Reset them. Yeah.
And you got MOT. It's 250 quid. I wouldn't trust it. If it was an ordinary guy selling it, yeah, maybe. but not a
Mm.
car dealer. I all sorts of things are coming to mind. Sure, is it time for Lost Highways?
It is Lost Highways time.
Oh, hang on, we get special music from the band. Oh, oh, that was lovely. I did like that.
That's a bit American Pie-ish.
A bit like Deliverance, mate. Slightly worrying.
It's time for the Lost Highways. This is our feature where listeners email us in and give us their favourite roads and the reasons why they love them. It could be a
Yes.
quite coastal road that leads down to sea, alternatively, it could be a straight two-lane blacktop that leads to infinity and invites you to come the pedal to the metal. Whatever your poison is, let us know your perfect driver road here on Car-Boyz. And first person this week is Daisy May. Who says, Dear Car-Boyz, the Nochlum Road in Austria is one of the greatest driving roads for me and my partner we have ever experienced. And no matter which direction you drive up it from, in or into Krems, satisfaction will be guaranteed from both sides. This is full of smut in the window. From both sides, the drive starts with several challenging hairpins that resembles roads like the Stelvio Pass and the Großglockner. But the higher you climb, the more landscapes open up, and straight stretches of road increases, which starts with a drive through what feels like a dense forest, suddenly becoming a drive in the mountain landscapes where you have panoramic views of in every direction. Like other beautiful roads in Austria, the Nochlum Road is also a toll road, and it's usually open. It's usually closed in winter. In the season, a day ticket for the car costs £17.50, so it's about same as a congestion charge.
That's all right.
But before you drive off the toll booth gates on the other side, you can simply just do a U-turn and drive back round in the other direction. So you will be doing 60 kilometres of pure driving pleasure and so many bends that you will lose count. They can tell you what the number of bends there are there. There's 52 in one way, so that's 104 bends on the round trip
Right.
because they counted. So yes.
Nice. That sounds
There you go.
interesting. I actually haven't managed to print this out. I've printed out the wrong thing. So you're going to have to read the next one, I'm afraid. Sorry.
Okay, so the next one.
It's a good show, isn't it, so
It's all
far?
good.
Yeah.
Yes. Finally, the highways Kai Tak mails in all the way from Hong Kong and says, Dear Car-Boyz, not many people know there are some great driving roads in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong?
The
I've been to
Taimo
Hong Kong.
Shan is the highest mountain in Hong Kong and China's second tallest coastal peak.
Okay.
A popular hiking destination with tough trails, the peak twists and turns make for a fun and breezy ascent by car. The top vantage points offer panoramic views of the new territories, with its sprawling subtropical hills and dense urban pockets. It's also the chilliest point in Hong Kong, attracting frost chasers who drive all the way up for the rare sightings when it has a cold spell. There's a weather station at the top of Tai Mo Shan, paved the whole way up. The uppermost is roughly 3 kilometers long, but it's blocked by a manned barrier gate and is inaccessible to motor vehicles, except those on government or military service.
Yes.
A car park is this at this point. Bicycles and pedestrians are permitted past this barrier, with cyclists not permitted to go beyond the boundaries of the paved road. There's an enclosed restricted area in which lies at 957 meters. You can hire a car quite easily, but most companies offer prestige vehicles to do the trip.
I've never heard of this. I've only been to Hong Kong once, but I know there's the new territories, which I assume that's the mainland.
Mm.
So a bit of
You
the
can
mainland
just,
is
I don't know where you can see.
into Hong Kong because I mean Hong Kong and Kowloon are completely built up. So I wonder if this is the mainland. It looks great,
Yes.
and the climate there is wonderful. The climate in Hong Kong is
Okay.
it gets a little steamy in the
Ooh.
summer.
Oh.
A little steamy, depending where you go, but it's nothing like
Who you with?
Bangkok. Who you with? How much you paid them? It's nothing like Bangkok. It's a lot. Well, yeah, Bangkok's another thing altogether. So it's not a lot less steamy than
Yeah, yeah.
Thailand. So it's quite nice. It's quite in the winter. You do need a coat to go outside,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
very fresh. But yeah, that sounds like a very interesting road. Thank you very much. Get all your suggested Lost Highways, onto the show. Email us. Email the boys at car-boys@outlook.com. Facebook us, car-boys at Car-Boys with the 4 Zs. Twitter, car-boys at car_boys with a Z. Instagram, the porno one, at car_boys with 3 Zs. I assume they offer other things on Instagram.
Yep.
And it's time for a new feature on the show with new
Yes.
music. Are we ready? Oh,
Yes.
hang on a second. You know, you have it all queued up. You have it all queued up. Here we go.
Ooh.
Bollocks.
Time now on this show. Yeah, well, they can't get
That's
more
where the
music.
budget's gone.
That's the budget. I had to hire a musician to make that for me. Time now on the show for a new feature where we open up Her Majesty's Royal Parcel Delivery Service and find out what's inside. It's time for Letter Bollocks. And over to you, Simon.
Now we have an email from Lisa who is worried about changing the fluid in his automatic gearbox. Should he or shouldn't he? He says. It's Dave from Dorking. He drives a 2007 Lexus ES350. It's got 97,000 miles on the clock. He's owned the car for 5 years and never changed the transmission fluid. Should he now? I've never driven an automatic.
With a pint here of cider and black. Moving on to some Coca-Cola and a flat pint of Guinness at the end.
Is it like the Pepsi challenge? Is that what that is?
Which one tastes worse? They all taste pretty bad. You've never driven an auto?
No, I've never driven an auto.
Oh God, you're gonna have fun. Really?
Yeah, ever.
You live in London and you do the worst journey in the world from the northwest. In fact, you go from the northwest to the southwest.
Northeast to southwest. Yeah.
To southwest. So it's like this. It's really bad, your journey.
Yeah, but you should see my calf muscles.
Yeah, I was going to say, how big is your left leg?
They're like
you have
marrows.
to get specially made trousers because your withered accelerator one, the one that does the accelerator is like a matchstick.
Yeah.
But your left leg, it looks like the Rock. Hello, your leg's huge. If you kick somebody with that leg, you could kill them. You're insane not getting an auto.
I've never driven an auto.
I've had 2 manual cars in London.
Yes.
And I got rid of them very quickly and went and bought autos. The one thing you're going to have to remember is when you do decide to take the plunge and buy a 1996 Lexus Auto in gold with a tissue box on the back shelf, which happens to you when you reach a certain age,
Yes.
is not to whack on the anchors like you're going for the clutch.
Yeah.
The first automatic car I ever drove was a van. I was driving a van for a job, and I was in between jobs, so delivery guy, and I got this van, and I went, oh, it's an auto. And I had loaded everything in the back of the van to deliver, and I quickly phoned my dad and went, how the hell do I drive an auto? I've never driven an auto. So he explained, take your left foot, put it underneath the seat, and whatever you do, just use your right foot to brake.
Right, okay. Yeah.
So don't use, like you usually do, left foot clutch, right foot brake and accelerator. Which was okay until I forgot I was in an automatic and then got to a junction. The left foot shot out as if it was going for the clutch. The van went like this. And all I could hear behind me was because I'd also forgotten to strap everything down in the back. It was my last day in that job. Right. I can't believe you've never driven an auto.
No, never.
It's amazing fun. Yeah. Right. Okay. Many cars will tell you in their service manuals when to change the transmission fluid on an automatic. And this is what they will invariably look like. Some say to change the transmission fluid, it's good for life, which is manufacturers speak for, we want you to drive this car for 60,000 miles and then buy a new car.
Yeah.
There are 2 schools of thought. Now, this is a 14-year-old Lexus, low-ish mileage. Maybe if you can see in the service manual that it's had the transmission fluid changed at least once, then go for it. But be careful, because if you're driving a higher mileage car, if you've got dirty transmission fluid and you take it out and you put in new, it's going to do more damage than good because it loosens all the dirt up inside the box. I have to make this decision this year on mine because it's got 70,000 miles on the clock and it's 8 years old, 9 years old. No,
Yeah.
8 years old. I'm going to get it changed. But my father's car's got 150,000 miles, and his car is 17 years old, and he won't bother
Mm.
doing it on that. So that's the
Would it
two
just need
schools of
topping up
thought.
then?
He'll just top it up and just carry on, because you don't what
Yeah.
you don't want to do is start loosening stuff inside that box if it's full of crap, because that's when you're going to get more problems.
Mm.
But I think with my car, I want to keep it for I don't want to sell it. I want to try and keep it as long as possible. So yeah, get it changed. So that's up to you, Dave in Dorking. Have a look at the logbook. If you can see it's had it changed, definitely get it changed, and go and speak to your mechanic and see what he suggests.
Fantastic. So there you go, Dave in Dorking.
Dorking.
Should we have another?
Oh, it's me. Sorry. Olivia in Canvey Island says, "All right, Car-Boyz. I hope you're both well. She's thinking about buying a classic car for using at the weekends. Nice. She works from home, so this car will only be needed for trips to the supermarket and fun drives around the countryside. She's thinking about last generation of the old shape Mini. What do you think, guys? Rover bought Mini Cooper back in 1990.
They did.
Had a limited edition of just 1,000 after seeing the car sell well in Japan through the late 1980s. Such was the interest. A special edition. The decision was to reintroduce this as a mainstream model with the 1275cc engine plus alloy wheels, white roof, and more sporting interior. There's another. There's another girl. Oh, my Mini.
I wanted
Mini
one of
ran
those.
over my dog. So, my sister had the Paul Smith limited edition of the late 90s. The
Yep.
original Mini is more fun to drive, arguably. It's a very small car. They do rust from the bottom up. They're
Yep.
also getting more expensive as they get older. So, how much is it going to cost? This one is where it go back. This is a year 2000. Mini Cooper, very good condition, 75,000 on the clock. So it's got the Cooper engine, 2 owners, full service history, 10k they want for this.
Ooh.
But you can get a 10-year-old one, the BMW newer, the latest model, for
Yep.
half of that.
Yep.
So it's a bit,
Like mine. So you'd be able to get the R56 model.
yeah, for like
With
4.5.
yeah.
In really good condition. I mean, have you driven one of these?
I've been in one. I haven't
Yeah,
driven one.
they're amazing. They're
Mm.
they're just the most amazing. It's also like the TARDIS, because
Yes.
there's no what's it. Four of us went to the Reading Festival in the early 90s in
Fantastic.
one of these with a
Yeah.
tent on the roof. We went down to Islington to see a rock band the night before. We
Yeah.
slept in the car, and then we went to the Reading Festival. I went 4 people, normal
Yeah.
sized people. And we got
Yeah.
all our kit in there. We got cases of beer. It was fantastic. I think we also managed
Which
to.
is ironic because my car can barely fit
You can't get
4 people.
Yeah, I
Not in the
yeah,
back.
you can't get
Unless
people
you've
in the
got.
back unless you've got no
Yeah.
legs. Oh, you
Yes.
could get one of your legs. You could get that right leg that does the accelerator. In
Yes.
London. Not the left one though. That would need another Mini to carry it.
Or I'd have to push the seat forward on the passenger side.
Just have your leg
And do it that
sticking
way.
out the window. Your giant
Yeah.
leg. This is what it's like. It's like a giant leg this side, very weedy leg over here. I think if you want my opinion and you're after a bit of fun, go for it. But I wouldn't. I'd go and
Mm.
buy a newer one, because most of it, my sister's rotted from the bottom up. She used it every
Yeah.
day for work, and within 5 years, there's rust all over it, and it was worth absolutely jack. I'd go and get the newer ones. Get a BMW one.
And because it's an icon, they're asking silly money for
Yeah.
it. So
And that's
the
it. I
reason
mean,
why.
10 is 20-year-old car.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And also, if she's not used to driving something like that, you will get on the motorway and go, oh,
Oh.
I'm really small, and everybody's a lot faster, even with the
Yes.
Cooper version.
Patrick in Huddersfield says, "How do, lads? Where's my whippet? Hope you're all well. Love the show. Thank you." He's trying to plan his summer holiday. He's thinking of the Western Isles of Scotland in July. So am I.
Nice.
And visiting many distilleries. So am I.
Excellent.
Can he buy a camper van or a van that can be converted for less than £5,000? He has a girlfriend. Nice. I don't. And so it needs to sleep too, but also be reliable. £5,000. It's quite a small budget.
Yes, not a great deal to play with, is it? £5,000. But if you pick wisely, you can find a cheapish camper van, which is ideal for two. or one if you're in Simon's case. Maybe you can pick somebody up on the side of the road. I'd look at Toyota Previas, Honda
Yes.
Transits, Mazda Bongos, but they are frightfully slow.
Okay.
They are
Slow as
frightfully.
bongos.
The Bongos are so slow. I caught one as a taxi once. And
Yeah.
I got in it and in the back and I went, the fuck is this? It's like a van. It's like a bread van. Da, 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 da. And the gearbox, it seems, is like inside the car as well. It's a weird thing. Please do not buy an old 1970s or 80s VW Camper. They're full of rust. They're going to cost you a
Yeah.
fortune. Now, I found this one, 1994. T4 VW Transporter diesel MOT till 2021. Work done includes timing belt, water pump, all done at 125k. It's only got 130 on the clock. Kitted out in bedding, small kitchen and DVD player. And he
Ooh.
wanted just over 5 for that.
Might buy that and live in
All
it.
right, yeah, buy that and live in it. Save some rent. Sure, your girlfriend will love it. Well,
small kitchen, yeah.
yeah, you haven't got a girlfriend anyway, Simon. You could live in that. That'd be
I,
fine.
I will, yeah.
Just go
that's
around,
absolutely...
picking up women. It could be your passion wagon. You could actually, if you painted it like the 70s, remember those big 70s?
Yes.
Some gold spinners on that. Some purple shag pile carpet. Bottle of Rohypnol. And finally, we have Thomas in Bordeaux. Bored out of his mind, bored out of his skull. French lockdown has kicked in once again. He says, I'm looking for a cheap project. He didn't say it like that. He just emailed. I don't know. He might say, I'm looking for a cheap project to work on. He's a former mechanic, now electronics engineer. So
Okay.
he wants an open top car to be ready for the summer. He doesn't have to be fast. It's got to be pre-1980 because he wants no electronics. He wants electrics. He wants rotor arms, points, carburetors.
Mechanical stuff.
Mechanical stuff he can get his hands dirty with. Stuff that works or doesn't work. Not like, which is good because most French cars' electrics now are completely shite. He'd love a French classic. So it's a real sucker for punishment. Take down his Riviera come August. It doesn't have to be a sports car, but what it must be is fun. So this is one I remember seeing one of these cars on holiday, and I had to go and research it. I saw this on holiday about 8 years ago. They don't make them anymore. If you can find one that isn't rusty and you can hire them, then you can find the A-Team. No, this is a Citroen Menhari, which is also a packet of, I think, cheroots. Called Menhari. Basically, it's a soft top Citroen 2CV.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit like the VW. Is it the Thingy?
That's the one. Yeah.
It was the scout car, the VW Beetle. The Menhari. They made it in the 60s and 70s. Look out for rust. It's quite cute. It's a quite cute little thing, and if you can, France is the place to find these, not the UK. So this has got an UK reg, but the late 70s one. But yeah, you'll find one of these in France. Alternatively, and also in a sort of orangey gold, I would personally go for this Peugeot 304.
Oh. Lovely that is.
304 Peugeot two-door cabriolet, slow as anything, the slowest coupe in the world, but a lovely looking car. Both are very old tech. You're going to need $4,000 for both in a project car.
Okay.
I like that though. I like that. I could see you, Thomas, down the French Riviera in that, beating them off with a shitty stick.
That's one of those cars that if you had to in the 70s or 80s had to draw a profile of a cabriolet,
it would look like that.
Convertible. That's how it would look. Yeah.
In fact, my son, if he draws a car, it looks very much like this. One wheel, two wheels, and then you get that. I think James Mader had one of these on Top Gear, and I was reminded of it. So the thing is, with working on these cars in the country of origin, there are lots of places that make the parts, lots of makes the replacement parts, cheap parts, copy parts. You can have some fun with it. I believe it's competition time. I didn't mean that to happen, but it is competition time. It is indeed competition time now on the show. It is. Welcome one, welcome all to competition time now on Car-Boyz. It's going to be great. It's going to be entertaining, and it'll certainly be colourful. The title of our quiz this week is called Colour Me Bad. Like the 90s pop band of the same name, we'll be asking a lucky contestant how much he knows about cars and their colours. Will he be able to identify the Ferrari Rosso Red or the British Leyland Allegro Baby Poo Brown, which I do believe was an official colour? Will he come out a winner or be relegated to the back of the paint shop with the old cans of touch-up paint and the Pirelli calendar? And all
Mm.
those watching under the age of 40, the Pirelli calendar was a sort of artistic fashion shoot for Pirelli tyres that featured beautiful women from around the world in exotic locations. And it helped advertise tyres and usually ended up getting stuck at the back of dirty backstreet garages. Of course, as we all know, are the best kind of garages. Joining me
Mm.
this week is a young man from North London. He's cheeky, he's a cockney, he's a geezer. It's Simon. All right.
Way, all right, geezer.
How are you?
I'm good. You
Good,
good?
good. Well, I'm here.
Uh,
Super smashing and also great. We're going to have another great quiz for you this week, and even better, as the theme of the quiz is cars, the colour of cars and paint, we've got you an amazing prize. Are you ready for it?
Ooh, yes.
Hang on, let me get it. I had to search high and low on the internet for this week. The prize, if you do succeed in getting 75% of points or less, is a signed picture of 1970s TV show star and
Yes.
definitely not a U-Tree pedo, Tony Hart.
Yes.
So it's a piece of art by art. So this art will be signed
Yay.
by Hart, if that makes any
Fantastic.
sense at all. And it was actually a picture of Tony when he was out of work and painting my back bedroom. So I know you
Start
can't
wearing a
wait to.
cravat, though.
No, no, I'm sorry, but he had to take it off because I was getting him to do the back bedroom, and he made all that mess. And I
Ah.
have to say, the wife's asked for Magnolia, not that, Tony. Get on with it. Are you ready, Simon? Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay,
Come on,
here
Tony
we
Hart
go.
picture.
Come on, Tony Hart picture. Question one. What color is this BMW M4? What color is this BMW M4? Is it A, Hockenheim yellow, B, Mola yellow, C, Austin yellow, or D, Melbourne yellow?
Hmm. Well, they're German, so I'm thinking
German.
the logical thing would be to
Oh,
say
sorry.
Hockenheim yellow.
Yes. Believe it
Is
or
it
not,
Imola yellow?
no, it's Austin yellow, named after
What?
the city in Texas where the Circuit of the Americas is.
Not Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Not or Austin Rover. I bet
Oh
there were
no!
some Austin Rovers in that car. So sorry. No, no, yeah, Tony Hart moves
Oh,
further away
that's
from
not.
you.
That's no.
I know.
Come on, Tony Hart
Come
picture.
on, we can do this. How many colors? Many colors on the Dodge Charger have had some interesting names.
Hmm.
What is the name of this color? Is it orange? You're glad it's not a Taurus. Is it a B, vitamin C? Is it D, C, go man go, or is it D, citruessa? So
Hmm.
orange, you're glad to see it's not a Taurus. A. B. Vitamin C. C. Go man go. Or D. Citruessa.
Oh, this is tough. This is probably the toughest quiz we've had yet.
Oh no, it is a bit, isn't it?
I don't think they'd
Sometimes.
have a dig at the Taurus, so I would go with the last one. It seems outrageous, but should be true.
Now, believe it or not, this was a 1960s colour, and it's called Go Man Go.
Ah, okay.
And there was another colour called Vitamin C. Citrus USA, I believe, is made up. Sorry about that.
Oh
It's
dear.
getting tough. So
It's
point
tough. This is the
tough at the
toughest quiz ever.
tough. I know it's tough at the top. Okay, rare option for this NSN 95 Cobra. What was the color of this?
Ooh,
So it's sort of a purpley blue. Was it A,
chameleon.
spectral blue,
Yeah.
B, reflex purple, C, mystic chrome, or D, polarized? Spectral blue, reflex purple, C, mystic chrome, or D, polarized?
I'm going to go for C, Mr. Chrome.
Mr. Chrome is correct.
Yay!
I don't know why it was that color. It's just that color.
Stupidness.
The stupidness. Here we go. One of these colors are not, and I repeat, not a color of a Ford Fiesta. There's a Ford
Oh,
Fiesta.
okay. Yeah.
Okay. Is it A, Bon High Bay Mint, B, Copper Pulse, C, Candy Red, or D, Arctic Blue? Which one is not the proper colour of a Ford Fiesta? A,
Arctic Blue.
Bon High Bay Mint, B, Copper Pulse, C, Candy Red, or D, Arctic Blue?
I'm going to go for A on that one.
No, it was one of the more obvious ones. It was Arctic Blue.
Really?
Bon High Bay
Wow.
Mint, available from 2016 on most
Of
Zetec
course. I
titanium
know
engines.
what colour it is now, yeah.
Oh, mate,
Oh,
I thought you'd be well in with that. So far, only 1 out of 4, but it's still all to play for. Okay, we're moving on. I've made this quite hard this week. Apologies.
That's good. That's fine.
What's the shade of this BMW 2002? This is a BMW 2002. Is it Sunrise Orange? Is it Inca Orange, Valencia Orange, or Regensburg Orange, mein Herr?
That sounds the most German.
Is it Sunrise Orange, Inca Orange, Valencia Orange, or Regensburg Orange? Yeah.
I wanted to say Inca, but I'm going to go for the last one.
I would say you were right. You're going, yes, Inca Orange, correct.
Yes.
It is
Okay.
Inca Orange. Lovely. I do like a BMW 2002. Beautiful looking car. There's an
Lovely
automatic
cars.
one near me, of course. You wouldn't be able to drive that. One of the most popular Porsche colours. This. All right, here it is. Is it A, Arena Red? Is it B, Wild Cherry? Is it C, Monza Red? Or is it D, Wine Red? It's a popular Porsche colour. Arena Red, Wild Cherry, Monza Red, or Wine Red?
I'm hoping that if it was Wild Cherry, that would have play that funky music every time you got in.
Lay down and boogie.
But instead, I might go for Wine Red.
Arena Red. No idea why. Arena Red. So far we're 2 out of 6. I don't think you're winning Tony Hart, but we can come to
can I get him rolled over to next time?
No, we could just roll it over to the next show. Okay, here we go. Oh.
Thank you. That was a good idea.
Hey, they like your comedy humour. Okay. James Bond drove a 1965 GB5. What colour was this GB5?
Silver.
Was it just silver? It's superb silver. Was it superb silver? No. Was it A, silver stone? Was it B, aluminium silver? Was it C, sterling silver? Or was it D, silver birch?
I just like sterling silver.
Would she sell seashells onto seashore? Would she get some new false teeth when she stars in the remake of Never Say Never Again? So it's A, silver tone. This is hurting me. B, aluminium silver. C, sterling silver. Or D, silver birch.
I
British
think
car, 1960s.
I would go with
British.
Sterling
silver, correct. Yes. Sterling silver. I like to shit on the front side sheet and eat my pasty while driving my sterling silver Aston Martin. He never sounded that bad.
No, he didn't.
And he was my third favourite Bond.
Okay.
Roger being the most popular, then Pierce, Organ, and Sean Connery. Right. What is so far 3 out of 6? We're getting there.
50%.
What is the colour of this fantastic muscle car from Ford 1970s? I think Mustang. Is it seafoam green, pistachio pudding, anti-establishment mint, or absinthe without leave? I quite like that last one. Is it A, seafoam green, B, pistachio pudding, C, anti-establishment mint, or
Pudding.
D, absent without leave? We're early 1970s, the realm of the heyday of the muscle car. Think of the time period. What
What
would
was
you
A?
go? Seafoam green.
I would have gone with that one. Seafoam green.
I
That
would as
sounds very
well,
American.
but apparently anti-establishment mint.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm guessing the hippies were starting to be able to afford these cars by sort of 71, 72. So it's a on that. Right. So 3 out of 6. So you can still win it. You've got to get these last two right.
yes.
And question 9. This car came out, was released by Volkswagen in the 1990s. But what was
Yes.
the name of the color of this car? So this had a specific name for these. Was it A, clown car? Was it B, harlequin? Was it C, potpourri? Or was it D, scrapyard spare panels mixed?
I would really love it to be the clown car, but it's Harlequin.
It is harlequin. You are correct.
Yay.
I remember seeing one of these and going, surely you didn't dent every single panel on your car.
Mm,
What a Pete! I haven't seen one of these for years, and I imagine it's quite a collector's item now. They are fucking horrible.
they
But the
did. I
good
think
thing
they did
is,
a polo version of it as well.
if you smash the crap out of this, you can just go to the breaker's yard and
Choose
nobody
any
will
colour.
notice. Yeah, nobody will
Yeah.
notice the difference. So we're up to 4 out of 6. Let's 4 out of not 6, 4 out of 9. So let's try and get at least 50%, and we'll give
Okay.
you. We're gonna now. Which one of these isn't a proper color from the candy-based car company Triumph? We went through the color palette of the 1970s with Triumph, and we found some of their colors. Some of these are correct, some of these are incorrect. So A, mimosa yellow, B, British racing green, C, Delta blue, or D, Delta Goodrum. Would you like me to read that again?
No, I'm going to go with Delta Goodrum.
D,
As
Delta
nice as
Goodrum.
she is.
That's correct. Delta Goodrum. Actually, I might include this as your present as well. Delta Goodrum isn't
Is that
the
the
colour
runner-up
of
prize?
Coventry. Yes, that's Delta. Hey, Simon, I hear you haven't got a girlfriend. Is she American?
You're Australian, is it?
Is she Australian? Hi,
Yes.
Simon. I'm going to go down at the end of every sentence. You look great, and I guess you got a mini. Yes, she is not a colour of candy-based car company Triumph. There was never a Delta Goodrum. So it's well done to you, Simon.
Yay,
The crowd.
50%.
Yes, you win 50%. It was a very hard competition.
It was tough.
And you shall win that fantastic painting of Tony Hart repainting my back bedroom when he was in between gigs. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, there'll be another competition next week. And seeing as you're writing it next week, I imagine you're going to make it as bloody hard as possible, which I'm not looking forward to. But I don't mind. Look at that.
It's a bit of fun.
It's all for
just
fun. It's just for fun. Thank you very much for tuning into the show. As I mentioned, back next week with another episode if we get time to writing it. Hope you enjoy your week not doing anything. Got anything planned for you this week?
Getting my car done for the ready for the MOT next week. So that's what I'm doing.
Nothing for me. Just trying to avoid all of the roadworks and the new bicycle lanes that the stupid mayor of London has decided to introduce. See you next time on Car-Boyz.